Tonight on News 5 Live, the controversial $7 million loan to Pharmacy Express is off the table. Turmoil at Belmopan City Hall. The mayor appoints a new deputy and meets strong objection from her councillors. And free education pilot project is set to commence at the beginning of the new school year. These stories and more coming up on News 5 Live.
Make your summer better. Over $35,000 in cash and prizes with Smart Summer Sweepstakes. Here's how you can enter for a chance to win. Purchase any device, sign up for a smart postpaid, broadband, or VoIP plan, use $50 or more regular prepaid credit, do a SIM swap, or text to the short code. You win 8946. And in the body of the message, enter the number of inches you would like to purchase. Each entry costs only 50 cents.
Don't waste any time. You can be the winner of weekly prizes starting July 1st. All methods give you more chances to win. Airline tickets, overnight stays at numerous resorts, cash prizes, gift certificates, and much, much more. One lucky person will win the grand prize of a $10,000 shopping spree courtesy Court and Smart.
Promotion ends September 16, 2022. So make your summer better by getting in the race to win with Smart Summer Sweepstakes. Smart, bringing people together.
Crisp and refreshing, golden in color, blissfully smooth. Lighthouse Lager is a classic European brew with the perfect blend of hops and barley. A flavor that always offers a great drinking experience. All night long, ice-cold Lighthouse is the lager that lets you shine on.
Shine on with Lighthouse Lager.
Keep still now.
Ouch.
I tell you no move.
Wow. You really can't get a mannequin for this, man? Really?
Well, son, if I never lend you the $2,000 to buy the kids' computer and the book, I may have the money for buy my mannequin.
It's definitely better to borrow from the bank than from your friends or relatives. This way, all you owe is money.
Would you like me to turn around?
That would be good. Turn on, turn on, turn on.
Take advantage of the back-to-school promotion currently being offered by the Belize Bank.
KTV.
Vote for your favorite KTV contestant by texting the number of votes followed by a space, then your contestant's number, and send it to Smart Code 5885. Here are this week's contestants.
Amor prohibido murmuran por las calles, porque somos de distintas sociedades.
Este frío noviembre cuando las hojas caen a morir por siempre. Noviembre sin ti es sentir que la lluvia.
Y tan solo con desprecio me has pagado y ahora ves. Si una vez dije que te amaba, hoy me arrepiento. Si una vez
debiste ese peligre, las Wind Montaña, a veces solo una gota de despertar la sequía. ¿Y para qué llorar? ¿Para qué?
Remember, voting ends on Sunday at midnight. And don't forget to tune in every Tuesday, live, only on 5.
The 2022 Population and Housing Census is here, and our census staff will visit your home over the next 10 weeks. You may ask yourself, what can I expect when my household is visited? Well, data for the census will be collected in two parts. First, the interviewers will list all the buildings in their area of work and record some key characteristics of the building. For example, they will capture whether the building is a dwelling unit, a business, or an institution. They may ask you to confirm some information about the building when in doubt. The second part involves collecting information about each household, such as the number of persons living in the household, the type of dwelling they live in, and access to essential services. Information will also be collected about each household member, including newborns and the elderly. Remember, the data from the census is essential to make informed decisions and policies that could help improve your community. So when we knock on your door or holler at your gate, tell us to count me in. The Statistical Institute of Belize, providing Belize with quality, objective, and timely information.
This newscast is brought to you by the Belize Bank Limited. Our country, your bank.
Good evening and welcome to News 5 Live for Thursday, August 11th. I am Sabrina Daly. Tonight, Pharmacy Express Limited, owned by Julius and Angela Zabane, is once again making headlines following a release earlier today by the Social Security Board. On July 25th, we reported on a proposal by the SSB to make available a loan facility of $7 million to the pharmaceutical company to be used for refinancing and inventory purposes. That proposal was met with strong objection from the government of Belize, particularly the Ministry of Health and Wellness. We understand that opposition to the loan proposal was submitted in writing by Chief Executive Officer Dr. Julio Sabido. It has been almost 3 weeks later, but the news tonight is that the controversial $7 million loan will not proceed. A statement issued by the Social Security Board this afternoon reads, quote, "At the end of the period set for public notice, the SSB had only received one written expression of concern, which came from the Ministry of Health and Wellness. The MOHW's objection was on the basis that presently PEL is not in possession of a pharmaceutical license to operate, and therefore the entity was operating without a license and should not be dispensing or supplying pharmaceuticals to the public," unquote. That perhaps may be the basis upon which an operation was conducted at the 4th Street Tourism Village on Wednesday, during which a quantity of controlled drugs were reportedly seized by personnel from the Ministry of Health and Wellness. News 5 understands that there is a move by the Ministry of Health and Wellness to shut down Pharmacy Express and its subsidiaries. Nonetheless, on August 9th, a letter written to Chief Executive Officer Deborah Ruiz by PEL informed that the company was withdrawing its loan application, to which the SSB responded by accepting same. As a result, this brings the loan approval process and the inquiry in respect of PEL to an end. Going back to the search that was conducted yesterday, News 5 made several attempts at following up with officials from the Ministry of Health and Wellness, including Director of Public Health and Wellness, Dr. Melissa Diaz-Musa. We were unable to get a comment on the matter. Controversy has erupted once again at the Belmopan City Council. This time, a few of the councillors have come public to criticize Mayor Sharon Palacio for naming a new deputy mayor. That individual has also come public to reject the position on the basis that the position came without an election. News 5's Marian Ali went looking for answers. Here is that report.
Two councillors from the Belmopan City Council have taken to social media to blast Mayor Sharon Palacio for appointing another of their colleagues as the new deputy mayor. Councillor Guadalupe Chicas and Nikki Agustin, in separate posts, criticized Mayor Palacio for naming Pauline Soberanes-Tillett as their new deputy mayor effective August 10th. A press release bearing the Belmopan City Council logo and purporting to come from the 6 councillors that make up the council states that the naming of the new deputy mayor was not in accordance with the Belmopan City Council Act, Section 19(2). That portion of the Act essentially states that a deputy mayor can be replaced after there is a vote in caucus. Mayor Palacio explained to News 5 today that she made the decision to appoint Soberanes because 4 of the councillors have kept away from meetings. So, she went ahead based on an agreement that they all made at their last meeting. That is, to rotate the post of deputy mayor so that every councillor could serve in that capacity before their term of office as a council expires in 2024.
At that meeting, we discussed that it would be opportune for each councillor to get a chance to act as deputy mayor, because it will always look good in their resume, and also it will be good, especially if they plan to continue their political career. So the point was brought up as to how we were going to move the way forward, and we agreed that it was going to be done at the following meeting, call it the election. So that would be this second minutes here, and that was our last meeting, March 9th. I found it in my right to do something. And so I quickly looked at the time remaining, and it's well outlined here. August 10th to December 29th would be Pauline, giving her 142 days. Councillor Nikki Agustin would go next. And right down the line.
Palacio said she recused herself from the vote and left the meeting, but was surprised by the results.
Councillor Chicas, who was a very good friend of Councillor Tillett, nominated Councillor Tillett and never voted for her. So Councillor Swayze won. I don't know if you've ever heard about someone nominating someone and not voting for the person. That's what Councillor Guadalupe Chicas did. And as I said, I will call a spade a spade. So the new deputy mayor, Darren Swayze, he was installed and congratulated by all. I must tell you that from that date to today, I've not seen Councillor Swayze.
The mayor said that according to the agreement, they would rotate the post every 142 days, and Swayze's time has expired as deputy mayor, and as far as she is concerned, the new deputy mayor is Pauline Soberanes-Tillett. But Tillett also issued a Facebook statement declining the position on the same grounds as those cited by Chicas and Agustin and the council's press release, that she was not elected in accordance with the council's act. But despite this, Palacio says that Soberanes, who had also agreed to the terms in the meeting, would now have to formally notify her of her reluctance to serve as deputy mayor.
Yes, the act says that, but you have in the past and other councils, they've done likewise, whereby we're giving people an equal chance. And in this particular case, as I shared with you, these councillors, they've refused to come to meetings.
Why? Why would you think?
They have their own personal agenda.
The person that you nominated, Miss Pauline Soberanes Tillett, has also declined the position because she too agrees with what the other councillors are saying, that she was not placed there by an election.
She has declined on Facebook. She would need to send me something in writing. Because I've sent her something in writing.
What has she told you personally?
Yesterday when she saw it, she said to please take down the post.
Wow.
And I did not take it down.
So what happens now? Palacio says that once Soberanes writes to indicate to her that she rejects the appointment, she will nominate another councillor from among them in accordance with the agreement they made in the last council meeting. But she hopes that cooler heads will prevail and that there can be some civil discussion going forward.
All she needs to do is to write me and say, I reject it.
Okay.
And then once that happens, we have the next person in line and they can reject it as well. Or the best thing, and that is what I want to come out of all this, that we can sit down. I am open for a reconciliation because the people voted us in for something. And together we can make a difference.
Reporting for News 5, I'm Marian Ali.
Mayor Palacio says she has written to the Ministry of Local Government to notify them about the controversy and that the POP will intervene to solve the matter. This is the second time since the municipals in 2021 that the Belmopan City Council under Mayor Palacio has been in contention over her management style. The optics of it does not look too good, and she says that she is now dealing with councillors who she did not select to run on the same ballot with her.
When I run again, I would make sure I pick my own slate. I did not choose them.
Okay.
If you were following elections, the mayors go up by themselves, and you have a group of so many people coming from all over, and it goes down to vetting.
Yeah.
Some of these folks should have never been even on slate. Obviously, vetting was not done properly.
Okay.
And there's one amongst them, I was tutoring her to become mayor.
Okay.
So there's some selfishness in it, because obviously the position is coveted.
Palacio has come under heat before from her councillors who have accused her of misappropriating funds and of not being transparent and accountable. But the mayor insists that it's because the councillors have not gone in to sit down and discuss the matter with her. They've also indicated that the council has not put out a financial report. But Palacio told News 5 today that it's because the auditing of the past several years, including the first 17 months of her administration, is being done and will be complete within the next few weeks.
We're at a point now where we should be completing the audits from 7 years back.
Okay.
And it hasn't been an easy process. I can tell you, if you go to National Bank right now, they're seeing us as very competent and doing excellent when it comes to financials. That's what the general manager...
Paying the debt that you inherited?
Exactly. That's what the general manager... I was at a football game and he said, congratulations, people are doing well.
Has your council gotten any new loans from the bank?
Oh, no.
Okay.
Oh, no.
Okay.
I don't even think we'd be able to qualify.
One of the points of contention raised by Councillor Nikki Augustin on her post was that the fundamental needs of the capital, having clean drains and streets, are not being prioritized because, in her words, the focus has not been on the betterment of this city, but rather on personal benefits and trips. But when we sat down with her today, Mayor Sharon Palacio said the trips she takes are paid for personally and that they are geared toward attracting business to Belmopan.
They can come and check here. My trips are properly funded by myself.
Not the council's fund?
No. You can check City Council, they can come here. City Council can't even afford to pay for my ticket. And my trip to Africa is very beneficial. Recently we graduated how many people for the soap making?
And that was personally paid?
Yeah, I personally went to Ghana and I'm asking for help. Okay. And the kind of help that I will be receiving, they won't be able to understand because these countries have money and they want to help. Okay. I had 2 mayors over the weekend. Have you ever heard about 2 mayors visiting you one day apart? You understand? Mm-hmm. So I can safely say that what needs to happen is for us to sit down. They can begin to assume and imagine, but City Council can't pay for my trip.
Okay.
Cannot.
Have you opened the books to them to let them see?
That's exactly what needs to happen. They need to come in. I cannot open book for vacant seats. They need to come.
Have they asked you to show
Look,
them?
I am not a tyrant, but I believe that there's somebody pushing these 4 people because they refuse to come in.
Coming up, Belizean youth recommend solutions to tertiary education financing challenges.
Start your engines now for the National MSME Roadshow, geared towards building the resilience of MSMEs and developing a national MSME directory. Sign up for this 3-day event filled with intensive boot camps, presentations, MSME support and formalization clinics, pop-up shops, and more to help you develop and promote your business. The National MSME Roadshow will be in Corozal starting August 24th, Orange Walk August 31st, Belize City September 7th, Punta Gorda September 14th, Key Cocker September 22nd, Belmopan September 28th, San Ignacio and San Helena on October 5th, Dangriga October 12th, Placencia October 19th, and closes in San Pedro from October 26th. Learn more and sign up for the National MSME Roadshow by visiting the Beltrade Facebook page or call or WhatsApp us at 613-5139. And let's get your business on the road.
All around the world, gas prices are rapidly declining. The President of the United States said it is the fastest decline of fuel prices in over a decade. Yet in Belize, gas prices continue to rise. 60 consecutive gas increases since the Breastfeeding administration has taken office, with no relief in sight. And we have to ask, the Prime Minister owns a few gas stations. That is a conflict of interest because the only person that is benefiting from these increases in fuel are people like the Prime Minister himself, with no relief for the Belizean people, no solution for the Belizean people, while oil prices continue to rapidly decline all around the world. Only in Belize, the prices continue to go up. This is unacceptable, and we must demand better.
Life hard out, yeah.
Go back to school and beyond when you upgrade your smartphone or tablet to a Samsung. The affordable line of high-tech devices are the perfect back-to-school tool that you can fit in the palm of your hands. Whether you're shopping for a starter phone or a high-end device, the Galaxy A series has an option to fit your needs. The awesome lineup includes the A03, A12, A13, A22, A23, A33, and Tab A7 LTE and A7 Lite. So unlock these offers and get your 1-year warranty only when you shop at authorized Samsung resellers countrywide, including Cellular World, Digi, Divari, Odette's Home Center, and Westtrack from July 4th to July 31st.
The Miss Belize pageant is back. Find out who will represent us at the most important pageant in the world, Miss Universe. It takes place on Saturday, August 13th at 8:30 p.m. at the Bliss Center for the Performing Arts. Watch it live right here on Channel 5 or on our Facebook and YouTube pages. It's an event you won't want to miss.
Over the last 6 months, a group of Belizean youth have been working to develop public policy to improve the education sector in Belize. 2 groups were created from the participants. One group tackled the secondary school curriculum, while the other looked at the issue of tertiary education financing. This morning in Belize City, those participants presented their findings to representatives from the Ministry of Education, the Development Finance Corporation, DFC, and the National Bank of Belize. News 5's Paul Lopez was there. He filed the following report.
Young Belizeans, with the help of the International Republican Institute, are working together to pave the way for greater access to affordable tertiary education financing in Belize.
In Belize, tertiary age students normally access tertiary education through scholarships. The normal Prof and Tech, Cheveling, Cuba, that's Taiwan, that's it. And outside of that, you have to get a loan, either from DFC, that's the only institution in country that focuses on educational loans, starting from 6% and 7.9%. onwards. For the other institutions, it ranges as high as 14%.
Access to affordable tertiary education financing is considered a major issue for tertiary level students in Belize. Recently, the IRI supported a group of young Belizean leaders in the development of a public policy framework to address this issue.
We looked at what is required for a $10,000 loan. You need 1 guarantor. For $20,000, you need 2. And above that, you need collateral, more than likely real estate. But let's be real, how many young Belizeans have access to collateral in order to access tertiary education? And so that's the foundation of the development of our policy. And things that we looked at is, number 1, how many credit hours are required. Right now in Belize, to get an associate's degree, you need 72 credit, but regionally and internationally, it's 60 credit hours, which reduces the cost. So this is a solution, something that we can really look at, and it's a low-lying fruit. For a bachelor's degree, regionally and internationally, it's like 120 credit hours. In Belize, it's 150 to 160. Every credit hour comes at an additional cost.
Additional recommendations within the policy framework includes the government of Belize partially guaranteeing students' loan in place of collaterals, deducting student loan payments from Social Security contributions, and the reduction of interest rates upon completion of study. In attendance at this morning's presentation was Dr. Louis Sabani, the Minister of State in the Ministry of Education, who gave us his thoughts on these recommendations.
We have our financial realities right now in Belize, so that is not something we could implement right away. But clearly, it is a path that we need to look at to get there ultimately. And at this point, there are some great things that we can do right away, which would include making sure that the institutions such as the National Bank or the DFC have access to very low-cost loans to them, 2% or less, that when they add on their administrative fee. It is considerably lower than what students are presently paying. So that's one of the strategies we're pursuing. We also got ideas that, for example, once the student that has the loan has a job, that there's an incentive for them to make sure they get a job, say within Belize, that now the interest rate goes down.
Belize's tertiary education net enrollment is at 25% compared to the regional average of 50% enrollment. These youths found that countries with high tertiary education enrollment have established mechanisms that reduce the risk associated with student loans. In Barbados, education at the tertiary level is free.
This is very timely because we're about to start a process for tertiary institutions. We're planning to develop a national tertiary strategy that came from them so that we could look at things like financing, like accreditation, quality of education, accessibility, etc. Relevance to our national development.
Marcela Salas, the Caribbean Program Director at IRI, says the recommendations developed by participants can be a game changer in addressing the issues raised in accessing tertiary education financing.
Quite honestly, we were very surprised of the quality and the seriousness and how robust the investigation, the research, and the proposed solutions that the youths came up with. We're very pleased with all the development of the program and how it played out and how these youths really understand the problematics of the countries and what is needed for the future and what is needed to strengthen and help the progress of the country. So we're very pleased with the result of the policies and also very impressed with the fact that the authorities were so open to hear these youths and took some of the recommendations.
Reporting for News 5, I am Paul Lopez.
While speaking on the issue of tertiary education financing with Dr. Zabaneh, reporters asked for his thoughts on the brain drain situation in Belize. He agreed that many highly trained or intelligent Belizeans migrate to take advantage of greater economic opportunities abroad. The decision in some cases, says Dr. Zabaneh, is as a consequence of the expenses incurred from student loans. Additionally, he noted that there is a productivity issue facing the country, which makes Belize less attractive for skilled workers.
Yes, it's a major issue, and I will tell you that in my case from 1999, when I was serving as the executive chairman at Beltrade, I tried to bring in our PhDs from abroad. It included persons like Dr. Tiega and Dr. Peters, Dr. Cutters, Dr. Aaron Lewis, all people who have contributed. But we have the challenge that they may have also incurred certain loans along the way that they have to pay back. And when they come to Belize, the salaries are a fraction of what they would get internationally. So again, it's not the education sector in isolation, it's also improving our productivity in the country so that we can have jobs that are paying higher returns and that require people with higher skills so that they can then get paid more. So we need to have an upward spiral, right, rather than the stagnation we've been having all these times.
Teachers are expected to return to a regular 5-day work week with the reinstatement of their full salaries. The Ministry of Education adjusted the work week for teachers in 2021, when 10% of their salaries were deducted. For the first 4 days of the week, teachers were required to be in the classroom. On Fridays, teachers were given the option to work from home, and classrooms across the country were closed on that day. Dr. Louis Zabaneh reasons that the newly developed curriculum reform framework requires 5 days of work. Additionally, many students are still behind due to the adverse impact of the COVID-19 pandemic.
I believe that the teachers know that their responsibility, that they will go back on Fridays. In fact, if you look at the curriculum reform framework, which is available on our website, you will see laid out there very clearly the subjects and the number of hours per week, and that requires 5 days of work. Remember now, we also have the severe adverse impact of COVID, where we've done as best as we can with the catch-up program for students in the last few weeks. We're going to be wrapping that up soon. 8 weeks of work in literacy and numeracy across the country for students from Infant 1 to Standard 2. But we will still need to do more. Our diagnostics showed that students who are 1 year or more behind at the end of this last academic year because of COVID. And so it is imperative and incumbent upon all our stakeholders, the teachers, the principals, the managements, us at the ministry, that in this transitionary year for the curriculum, that we're all fully engaged, that we spend as much time with our students who hopefully will be able to remain face-to-face as much as possible. Certain high schools I know will be complementing their face-to-face with hybrid, with virtuals, so that students who are behind can get opportunities to catch up, and that is very important.
Dr. Zabane also spoke about the COVID-19 protocol that is being prepared for face-to-face learning. While there will be some changes to those protocols, discussions are being had about whether or not students should be required to wear face masks.
From what I've been briefed on, most of it will remain, the hand washing, etc. I think there's a conversation with the Ministry of Health on whether they will need to have masks on what we wouldn't be necessarily needing to have the big distances between the chairs in the classroom. So there will be some changes, but there will still be a significant amount of those protocols in place.
The Ministry of Education has decided that it will offer additional assistance to its adult continuing education (ACE) programs across the country. While a great deal of attention has been paid to the primary, secondary, and tertiary level education, Dr. Zabane conceded that ACE programs, for the most part, have been neglected over the years. But he says that it is about to change because ACE will receive the financial support needed to increase enrollment at the beginning of the new school year.
That ACE only has traditionally only had about 1,000 students, when in fact the number of students who have dropped out of high school over the years is in the tens of thousands. And so we're saying that we have to give more resources, more priority to the ACE, because the ACE directors in conversations with them have told us, yes, we've been neglected, but people are knocking at our doors. People want to go back and get their high school degree, but they cannot afford it. We need more resources, we need more attention. So Minister Fonseca has made that decision, so there will be additional assistance now to the ACE sector when school reopens.
After the break, free education pilot project to be introduced in the new school year.
It's the final show for the Belize Youth Rising Star. Come out this Friday, August 12, 2022, and witness the finale as 8 contestants battle for the prestigious title as Belize Youth Rising Star 2022 National Champion and take home the grand prize of $5,000. Commemorating this event simultaneously, the department will be celebrating International Youth Day under the theme Intergenerational Solidarity, creating a world for all ages. Activity starts at 1 p.m. at the BTL Park in Belize City, with One Love kicking off the extravaganza. Live performances by Britney Star, Bossa B Band, and Hugh B. See you at the Department of Youth Services Belize Youth Rising Star finale and the celebration of International Youth Day.
I'm on my way to Belize, where I can get what I need and save some money. After 75 years in the business, nobody do it like Benny's. Hello, how may I help you? Anything you need, we got you. Whether it tools or tiles, lights and fans, we are serving with a smile. Genuine plumbing and electric supply, quality construction supply, heating and air condition, 100% Belizean. Benny's, celebrating 75 years of quality and savings. Quality and savings. Benny's, celebrating 75 years of quality and savings. Quality and savings. Benny's, celebrating 75 years. Quality and savings. Quality and savings.
Download the SmartStream app on the Android Play Store and create your account to get access to movies and stream at home or on the go. Prepaid customers can purchase regular data packages or get a discounted rate on a special SmartStream package by dialing 7737. Postpaid customers will be billed monthly. Never miss a movie again with SmartStream.
KTV.
Vote for your favorite KTV contestant by texting the number of votes followed by a space, then your contestant's number, and send it to smart code 5885. Here are this week's contestants.
Amor prohibido murmuran por las calles, porque somos de distintas sociedades.
Este frío noviembre cuando las hojas caen a morir por siempre. Noviembre sin día, sentir que la lluvia.
Y tan solo con desprecio me has pagado y ahora ves. Si una vez dije que te amaba, hoy me arrepiento. Si una vez
Debí seppellir e seppellire lassù in montagna.
A veces solo una gota debe pensar la sequía. ¿Y para qué llorar? ¿Para qué?
Remember, voting ends on Sunday at midnight. And don't forget to tune in every Tuesday, live, only on 5.
Students attending high school at either of 4 Southside institutions at the beginning of the new academic year will benefit from a new program that is being rolled out by the Ministry of Education. Those enrolling at Maud Williams, Excelsior, Gwenliz, and Sadie Vernon will no longer have to worry about finding tuition, new uniforms, books, school bags, and even breakfast. It's all being covered by the government. All that will be required from them is daily attendance and good grades. News 5's Isani Kayatana looks at a pilot project to introduce free education.
The prospect of going through secondary school without having to pay tuition, purchase books and uniforms, or finding something to eat in the morning has been an election pledge made by political parties for many years. That promise has never really been fulfilled, despite attempts by successive administrations to make education more affordable to all. The Briceño administration, as part of its Plan Belize manifesto, has embarked on an ambitious initiative, beginning with a free education pilot project in 4 high schools in Belize City.
At the start of their this new year, that kicks in. So students going there now will have all of this taken care of by the government in terms of not having to pay tuition, and we're also looking at some other services that go with that. The schools have been asking us to look at a meal per day, whether it's at breakfast or a lunch, to also be able to encourage enrollment by students. You know, the students in these areas have so many challenges. Part of it is that many of them might not even have food, so they don't have the energy to pay attention in class. So these are some of the things that we're looking at. And then we roll that out. We're hoping to have Dalil start at the beginning of next year. And as our resources permit, we then add on more and more schools. We have 62 high schools in the country. We're beginning now with 4. By the end of this academic year, we'll be at 5, and we roll out going forward.
Among the 4 secondary schools in Belize City are Maud Williams and Excelsior High Schools. Deborah Domingo is the principal at Maud Williams.
There was an assessment done of the 4 government-owned schools in Belize City, particularly Southside Belize City. And there were things that we had in common, challenges that we had in common. We served the same profile of students, hence the commonality there. And so out of that assessment came the recommendations, and it's from the recommendations that we have this awesome project. Actually, we should call it a program. As you know, projects have a start and an end.
Yes.
But it is absolutely exciting because our students will get to benefit in ways that previously they were not even imagining.
The idea, according to Minister of State Dr. Louis Zabane, is to increase the enrollment of students in high school. By meeting the expenses for them, it should make life easier, particularly where attendance and performance are concerned.
We're encouraging more students to be enrolled. That's a big part of the objective, is to make sure that those students who dropped out because of the difficulties in their areas now have a friendly, safe environment for them to come back to school. The parents don't have to be worrying about how we will pay for our children to attend these schools.
Over at Excelsior High School, Principal Dawn Waters says that the feeding program goes a long way in encouraging attendance.
Or clientele normally come from the surrounding geographic areas, and so they tend to benefit with respect to free tuition, right? That is a part of the policy. Uniform, they plan to be receiving a minimum of 3 uniforms, and we can give them more as a need-by-need basis. Mr. Mingo touched earlier on the feeding program. And so they have the benefit of getting breakfast or lunch, and administrators will decide which is more beneficial to them. I know in my particular school, breakfast is more beneficial to us because it has helped us with attendance and lateness to school because they want to access the meal.
Other schools in the pilot project include Gwen Lizarraga and Sadie Vernon High Schools. The initiative will be rolled out in these 4 institutions at the beginning of the 2022 academic year at the end of August. Reporting for News 5, I am Isane Cayetano.
When we return, a truck loaded with office appliances overturns on the George Price Highway. But first, here's the weather forecast with data from the Belize Met Service.
Belizeans deserve a fast, dependable, high-quality internet service in their homes for online, virtual classes, and to work from home. It's the new way of life. DigiNet is the #1 fiber service that is powering Belize's digital transformation. And now, this reliable fiber service is even more affordable with our new entry plan. For a limited time only, you and your family can enjoy 20 megabits per second of fiber service to your home for only $49 monthly. No more missed classes and interrupted meetings. It's costing you time and money. DigiNet is better than cable and better than wireless. Visit a Digistore today to sign up for the best home internet service in Belize. Come see what you've been missing. Same high quality, fast, and reliable fiber service, now at an even lower price. For more information, visit livedigi.com/diginet. Digi, our national telecom.
The Social Security Board, in collaboration with the Labor Department, takes this opportunity to remind insured persons of the requirements for compensation when on sick leave. Any employee who has worked with an employer for at least 2 months is entitled to 16 working days of sick leave with full pay every year. This is how it works. Upon approval of a sickness or injury benefit claim by SSD, 80% of the employee's weekly insurable earnings is paid as a Social Security benefit, and the difference in the employee's salary is paid by the employer. This is to ensure that the employee does not suffer any loss of wages when ill. After 16 days, compensation for sick leave is paid as a Social Security benefit only. Some conditions apply. This message is brought to you by the Social Security Board and the Labor Department. Social Security Board, safeguarding you, your family, your future.
Compostable plastics. To understand what a compostable plastic is, we need to know that composting is a natural way to recycle decomposed organic material like oranges or banana peels. So, a compostable plastic is similar to the banana peel in the sense that it also undergoes biological decomposition in a compost site and doesn't leave any toxic residue. In fact, it breaks down into carbon dioxide, water, inorganic compounds, and biomass at a similar rate of compostable materials. This is great because once properly disposed of, compostable plastic food packaging would be broken down in a manner much kinder to the environment compared to plastics. The recycled materials would return to Earth quickly and safely as soil when disposed of in the right environmental conditions and temperatures. It's important to note that for decomposition to occur, all compostable products must reach a sanitary landfill where there is proper management of the waste through disposal and treatment. Click on the link below to see what you can do to help end the nightmare of single-use plastics. I'm Alison Castillo, and now you know.
¿Sabías que Hospital Galenia modificó los protocolos de seguridad y prevención de salud ante la pandemia de COVID-19 para evitar contagios?
Creamos un concepto que denominamos quirófano santuario no COVID.
Hospital Galenia, más que un hospital.
The Miss Belize pageant is back. Find out who will represent us at the most important pageant in the world, Miss Universe. It takes place on Saturday, August 13th at 8:30 p.m. at the Bliss Center for the Performing Arts. Watch it live right here on Channel 5 or on our Facebook and YouTube pages. It's an event you won't want to miss.
Three persons escaped major injuries when the truck they were traveling in this afternoon careened off the George Price Highway and overturned in a swampy area near mile 41. It happened at midday, just as the truck filled with office appliances was on its way to Belmopan. A News 5 team was traveling behind the vehicle and witnessed the incident. We spoke with the driver, 37-year-old Sheldon Craig, who explained how he managed to control the vehicle after it slipped off the wet pavement after a downpour.
The steering get pulled a little bit by the side for us to come off the road to prevent the vehicle from flip, and it looked like I hit a soft part in the grass and it just flip it by the side, you know.
Okay.
So.
You were transporting some items, I see.
Yes, we were going to the next Belmopan, full tech in Belmopan, and unfortunately this happened also.
Okay, so you lost what?
We had some printers, some monitors and different things in the back of the trucks. We weren't going fast, so you know, the vehicle was kind of landed on the side, so nobody got injured.
The government of Belize is being assisted with revising the country's subsidiary laws, which were last updated almost 20 years ago. With help from improved access to justice in the Caribbean, Impact Justice, an initiative funded by the Canadian government, the subsidiary laws will be brought up to date to December 31st, 2020. This will be undertaken by the Regional Law Revision Center, a non-profit organization incorporated in Anguilla. According to Attorney General Magali Marinyang, it was of critical importance that the exercise be carried out so as to improve not only the efficiency of the legal system, but also to ensure certainty of the law for citizens, legal practitioners, and even law enforcement. The project began in June of this year and will conclude by March 2023. Belizean cyclist Oscar Quiroz returned home recently from the 2022 Commonwealth Games in Birmingham, England. Quiroz did exceptionally well during the 100-mile race he competed in, placing 27th from 129 international cyclists. Additionally, Quiroz placed third among the cyclists that competed from the Caribbean. He appeared on Open Your Eyes this morning to share his experience at the Games.
I did both disciplines, which was the individual time trial. So that's the one that you race against the clock for the individuals that might not know. And then, of course, you have the road races, which is everyone together and you race, for 100 miles or so. So
no big deal or anything.
No big deal.
100 miles.
What's 100 miles, right? Nothing much, right? So, but ideally the experience was it was a lot to take in, especially as a small nation. Going against these Tour de France guys, literally like what you see on TV, you're meeting these guys right beside you. You have to really keep it together, not to get too, starstruck or so, if I'll put it like that. And it's just ridiculous. It's just a ridiculous experience. It's hard to just explain how it feels, but in my own words, I would say it's like you have a bunch of different emotions flowing, right? You get nervous, you get anxiety because you have to compete against these people right now. But then at the same time, it's like, shucks, I finally get to meet this guy. We as Belize, you would have said, well, yeah, Belize, you're not really good. But when you go to these games, honestly, people see you different, right? And you have to respect yourself as an athlete when you get to that level, right? And that's what we have to take in when we go into these big games like this.
Just ahead, an art exhibit promoting breastfeeding and family.
Taking its name from the venerable father of the nation, the George Price Highway stretches 77 miles from Belize City to Benqueviejo. Originally built in the 1930s, this cross-country highway system is the artery that links Belize to Central America at the western border with Guatemala. That connection facilitates overland trade, supporting Belize's economic development. Winding its way across the scenic countryside, the George Price Highway from Roaring Creek to Esperanza has been fully reconstructed to meet international standards, with particular emphasis on road safety. A shorter and hassle-free commute is best enjoyed when everyone obeys the traffic laws. To reduce the number and frequency of road traffic accidents, it means that a seatbelt must be worn at all times and the speed limit observed when traveling along the highway. It also means that pedestrians must use sidewalks and crosswalks where available. Buses should only board and discharge passengers at a designated bus stop. Road safety is everyone's responsibility. It begins with you.
When all hope is lost and the days ahead look grim, we find ourselves looking for someone to shake things up, rescue us, and point us in the right direction. What if the one we've been waiting for has been here all along? Join us for our new series, Troublemaker, as we learn about a man who wasn't afraid to stand up for what's right to make this world a better place.
Dwayne Moody, Isani Cayetano, Marian Ali, Paul Lopez. Your News 5 Belize teams do whatever it takes, go wherever they need to go, so you can catch the story wherever you are, whenever you want, on whatever device. Channel 5 Belize on television, Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube. Because news is now everywhere, all the time. And so are we.
I'm always on the go, and the country is my home. So when I want to get away from it all, I immerse myself with my favorite movies, all from the new Smart Stream app. It's easy to use this service. Purchase your movies from the app and use your mobile data, Smart Stream data packages or Smart Broadband to stream and enjoy. Be like me and stream on the go with Smart Stream.
And Messi is standing over this. Messi.
Great entertainment stays with you, and we bring you great entertainment. Next Gen, the ultimate digital experience.
Hello eCash user, the eCash app is now available in Spanish. Changing the language in your eCash app from English to Spanish is quick and easy. Let me walk you through the steps. First, open your eCash app. Enter your PIN. Tap the More icon at the bottom of your screen. Choose Security. Select Language. Tap on Spanish. Then re-enter your PIN. And that's it! Your eCash app is now in Spanish, and you can continue to enjoy your eCash digital wallet. Belize Bank's eCash app makes life easier.
Belize continues to celebrate World Breastfeeding Week, despite formal activities that culminated on August 7th. Tonight, an art exhibit is being opened at the Belize Art Gallery inside the Bliss Center for Performing Arts. On display are a number of photos showcasing breastfeeding mothers and their families. The exhibit is the brainchild of Penny Casasola, whose life work includes championing the benefits of breastfeeding. The artistic expression was put together by Brigida Haylock and the Institute of Creative Arts. News 5's Isani Catano reports.
One of the most effective ways to ensure child health and survival is through breastfeeding. It is recommended that children initiate breastfeeding within the first hour of birth and exclusively breastfed for the first 6 months of their lives. However, nearly 2 out of every 3 infants are not exclusively breastfed for that duration. So, when Fiona Welch had her first child a few months ago, she immediately decided that her son would be nourished with her natural milk.
Throughout breastfeeding, you'll see him just his excitement for wanting the milk at the breast. He'll go and just be looking for the milk. The first couple weeks even, like, he would show you that he just wants his mommy as well.
Breast milk is the ideal food for infants. Not only is it safe, it also contains antibodies which help to protect against many common childhood illnesses. Celebrating breastfeeding removes the stigma that mothers should not be engaged in such activity in public. For Brigida Haylock, the opportunity to curate an art exhibit showcasing breastfeeding mothers was a no-brainer.
The exhibit is entitled Latch, a society that supports breastfeeding. So the exhibit is a vision of Miss Penny Casasola's. It's a collaboration work with Ika, Penny, and myself. So Miss Penny came to me with a vision that she wants to bring more awareness to breastfeeding. But listening to her, it's more of a positive perspective. We know there's a lot of discrimination and there's more work that needs to be done for parents, but she wants us to look at what support is.
In this case, encouragement means that families, including fathers, should rally around breastfeeding mothers. Haylock's art exhibition highlights not only women and children, but also men who are actively involved in the lives of their children.
In keeping with the World Breastfeeding Week theme this year is Step Up for Breastfeeding, and also through education and support. And that's what I'm hoping that this exhibit describes, how families gain that support, how the community can express their appreciation of this type of important type of nutrition, because it's not only nutrition for the baby, but it's also helpful for the mother's health.
Women who breastfeed also have reduced risk of breast and ovarian cancers. On the other hand, children perform better on intelligence tests, are less likely to be overweight or obese, and less prone to diabetes later on in life. The images on display at the Belial Art Gallery at the Bliss evoke a certain kind of feeling for Fiona Welch. She's a young mother.
It just makes me excited. Like, I'm glad that there's a lot more mothers breastfeeding. It makes me feel like a lot more families are taking the picture and the idea of what family is. Because not saying that if you're out there and you're not breastfeeding, you're not having your family, you know, but it's taking the time off for your kids and giving them the utmost love that you can, especially the bond that you gain in breastfeeding. So it just makes me excited in a whole.
The art exhibit uses black and white photography as the visual medium. Beyond the many images on display, the show also pays homage to the work of Penny Casasola, a lifelong advocate for breastfeeding.
The photography is an insight to Miss Penny's clients that she has worked with over the years. There's two perspectives of this art show. One is Miss Penny's vision, and the second perspective as the curator and artist of the show. I wanted to give Miss Penny a tribute to all the work that she's done for their families in Belize. So there is a double meeting with this show tonight.
Reporting for News 5, I am Isani Cayetano.
And that's the news. Tonight's broadcast is available in both text and streaming video at channel5belize.com. You can also connect with us on our Facebook page at facebook.com/News5Live. I'm Sabrina Daly. Thanks for joining us. And from all of us here at News 5, please remember to wash your hands, keep your social distance, and stay safe. Good night.